is attorney Julian Knight, who's going to unpack the legalities surrounding the awaiting trial prisoners who are being transferred to maximum security prisons. Mr. Knight, good evening to you. Thank you very much for your time. Finally, you're able to join. Let me preface this question with the other awaiting trial prisoners. For example, the murder of AKA, this is the musician who was gunned down in Durban. Two of the brothers who are alleged to have played a part there are also awaiting trial, but they are at the same maximum prison, ePhongweni, in Kokstad. So is there anything unusual about Mr. Matlala being kept there?
Yes, it's highly unusual, simply because you have an unsentenced offender that is being housed in a facility with sentenced offenders. First of all, there is a presumption of innocence, and these people ought to be kept in the trial awaiting section with other trial awaiting prisoners. Now, I understand that they are high-profile suspects, but the problem is that there are adequate facilities nearer to the places where they're going to be standing trial to accommodate them, and to accommodate them in places like Kokstad, which is an ultra security prison, is highly suspect. And I think, quite frankly, my view is that the government is actually being capricious and vindictive in actually housing people in facilities like that.
Interesting comment indeed. The people responsible for this decision, it is the Correctional Services Department. They didn't give much by way of explanation except to say an assessment was done. Could Mr. Matlala, as it is now being stated that he wants to launch an urgent application to try and change this situation, firstly, do you think that he stands a chance of actually winning against correctional services? But add to that a free and fair trial. Could he also argue that?
Well, I think preparation for a trial and being able to see your own legal counsel and consult freely and not have the restrictions of your legal team having to travel all the way to Kokstad at their own expense and ultimately the accused's expense, when they could be seen in closer to the trial, to the courtrooms. But I think that the whole idea of being housed in a facility like that, especially when, if you look on a procedural basis, there appears not to have been any formal inquiry where he was given the opportunity of stating his case. And I mean, one of the most basic tenets of our law is the principle of adi alteram partem. You can't just summarily be told and moved without you having given input. And you must also remember that these people are trial awaiting. They're not sentenced people. They have lost their liberty as a result of their bail conditions, but all of their other rights are still there. They're not sentenced offenders.
Final point, final question to you. And as you place emphasis that they are awaiting trial prisoners, they are not convicted yet, reasonable prospects of success if Mr. Matlala does indeed mount an urgent application to be moved back to Johannesburg?
My view is that I think it would succeed purely on the procedural basis that there was no hearing held prior to his move to facilitate for him to give his side of why he shouldn't be moved. And I also think that to house a trial awaiting offender in a maximum security prison where the whole regiment of discipline within that, I don't believe passes constitutional muster with regard to the most basic conditions that we are required to house both sentenced and trial awaiting offenders, that I don't believe that the Kokstad prison, quite frankly, would pass constitutional muster. And from that point of view, you know, if you just look at the point that you are kept in a cell for 23 hours a day in solitary confinement without any interaction with any other offenders, and you're allowed to exercise for 1 hour a day, you're completely isolated from any other offenders and any other human contact. That amounts to torture in certain jurisdictions. And I don't believe that that would pass constitutional muster if it was tested in our courts.
Very interesting points indeed. Julian Knight, thank you very much for your time. Legal expert talking to us there.